Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Patrick, aka Patty Two Wheels, heading out today for a ride. Gotta admit, I'm a bit frustrated. So, yesterday I went out for a nice long ride. It was probably about 2 hours total. And, so the drift cam that I have required an extension cord to get the microphone cable from my helmet to plug into the back of the camera. So what had happened was, the cable from the microphone had backed out of the extension cord ever so slightly. And that caused the camera to not recognize the microphone. So all the audio that was recorded on the external microphone, which, as you can imagine, is complete nonsense. So it's about 2 hours of footage I had, lost it all, and it was some good footage too. But you know, not much you can do. You live and you learn. I made some changes to my setup, so hopefully that's a little bit less of a possibility next time around. And you know, we're gonna move on from there. So, honestly, I got on my riding in yesterday because today was just not going to be as nice of a day. You can see it's kind of overcast and kind of cloudy. And it's been very humid here the past few days. And so what's happened is the road has been a bit wet in places. And you know, it's almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There are lots of places where the road is still very, very wet. So I'm not going to be able to take corners with the usual gusto, which is a shame, because I really like cornering and I really like hitting the twisties. But there is one topic that I'm definitely going to cover today, and that is gear. So it is the 3rd week in December, and I live in Maryland. And it is over 70 degrees out today. It is just crazy warm for this time of year in this area. I was out and about earlier today. I was getting some supplies. And all the cruisers are out. This is a bit of a rural area. You predominantly see those kinds of bikes anyway, but all the cruisers were out, and they were wearing the typical cruiser riding gear. It's either those half or 3/4 helmets. And if they're wearing gloves at all, they're not really sturdy or armored or anything. And similarly with the jacket. You know, I saw a guy on a trike this morning. He had a huge McDonald's cup in a cup holder hooked onto the handlebars. He was wearing one of those half-head helmets. No gloves, and it didn't really look like riding boots either. That's something I never understood, you know? You know, I get the gear can be warm, and it may not be the most comfortable to wear, but, you guys, you really need to look at gear as mandatory and not optional. You know, a lot of people, I think there are a few different reasons why people do or don't wear gear. I think the first is that gear can sort of cramp your style, you know. You just want to swing your legs over the bike. Oh, Jesus. Oh. You just want to swing your legs over the bike and go. And, you know, it's hassle to put on, you know, riding pants and riding boots and a riding jacket, heavy gloves, and a full-face helmet. I get that. You know, it's not as easy as going out, hopping on your bike, and riding. I'm going this way. Alright. Okay, what are you doing, man? Jesus Christ, you had the right of way. Bugs the shit out of me. If you have the right of way, go. That's how a stop works. So I think that another reason that people don't like to wear gear is because they complain about the comfort, you know. Oh, they don't like the feeling of having to wear a heavy armor jacket, or they don't like the feeling of having to wear a helmet, or heavy gloves, or heavy boots, or, you know, what have you. Insert name of gear here. People just don't like the fact that it's not quite as comfortable. So I think those are basically the main two reasons. First is, you know, it's kind of a process to go riding. You can't just get out and go. You have to put on gear. And second of all, the gear can be uncomfortable depending on what you get, depending on how it's sized. If you change your thinking, and you actually believe that gear is mandatory and that you can never ride your motorcycle without it, you start to approach the problem differently. So when you sort of think, oh, well, I should wear a helmet, I should wear gloves, and I should wear pants, but you know what, it's just a lot of work, and I'm not going that far, so I'm probably going to be okay. So I'm just not going to wear gear. That's the sort of thinking that gets you into trouble. If instead you think, okay, gear is mandatory, I have to wear it all the time, you make choices differently. So one of the choices is, you know, you really prioritize comfort of the gear. Now, of course, you shouldn't prioritize comfort over safety. You should always make sure your gear is protecting you adequately, but at the same time, you know, the gear has to be comfortable enough that you're going to wear it. How do you get somebody to do something you want them to do? You know, make them want to do it. And it's sort of the same with yourself. You know, how do you get yourself to wear gear? How do you make yourself wear your protective equipment? Well, it has to fit well, it has to actually protect you, and it has to be comfortable. So I think that's a big, step to sort of being safe and wearing your gear all the time is make sure you get comfortable gear. Sort of in the same vein, make sure your gear is appropriate for the season. You know, if you're riding in the summer, you need mesh gear that's well ventilated. Because if it's not ventilated, then you're going to get hot and you're not going to wear it. And, you know, the goal here is to, I don't want to say tricking yourself into wearing your protective equipment, but it sort of is, you know? You got to make sure the equipment is easy to put on and comfortable to wear. And so that might mean that you spend a little bit more on your gear. That might mean you spend a little bit more time fitting it. That might mean you spend a little bit more time getting gear that's exactly right for you. But if you approach the problem as gear is something I have to wear all the time, so how can I make this work? Then I don't think those factors are going to be big issues. Because, you know, if you have to do it, then that's just sort of the cost of doing business. If you have to wear gear, then putting it on, getting gear that fits, and always wearing it, that's the cost of riding a motorcycle. Now, I'm not perfect. You know, I don't wear riding pants, but other than that, every single time I'm out here, full face helmet, armored gloves, armored jacket, sturdy over-the-ankle boots and pants. Now, they're usually just jeans. They're usually not riding pants, which I admit that's an area that I could do better in, and I'm, you know, looking to get some pants. But, you know, I see tons of guys out here. They're wearing those half-head or three-quarter head helmets. They're wearing no jacket, or, you know, just like a windbreaker, or, you know, a leather jacket that's more for style than protection. Sometimes no gloves at all, and it's just like, you know, I mean, I'm not going to be able to talk you guys into wearing gear if that's not your thing, you know. I truly believe that you should wear gear. And I truly believe that gear is not that big of an issue if you just buy appropriately and make sure it fits you. But, you know, I'm telling you guys, you know, I've watched too many videos on YouTube of people going down, what they look like after they go down, and it's just, it does not look like a pleasant experience, you know? And I guess I sort of have, you know, a different view on gear, because I actually have gone down before. My first bike was 2004 CBR 600 RR. I actually low-sided that thing the first day I had it out. It was so embarrassing. I actually low-sided that thing going around a corner. I just fixated on one of those little tiny, you know, rectangular telephone boxes. I saw one of those, and I just fixated on it. And my brain was like, we gotta stop right now. And my hands were like, okay, let's grab a handful of brake. And just went down. Even though it wasn't really a fast accident, my gear still got scuffed up. So I guess I sort of have a different opinion on it because I have been down, and because I was really thankful that I was wearing gear at that time. But you know, whether it's, you know, your fault or not, you know, there are tons of other motorists on the road, and they just, you know, even if you're not a danger to yourself, they are a danger to you. You know, you guys have to treat it as mandatory, and, you know, not as, oh, I really should, but I can't today. You really just have to get in the mindset of, I'm not getting on this motorcycle unless I'm wearing these pieces of gear. And you know, there are a few things that you absolutely, I think you absolutely must have, and I really think should be a state requirement. So, you definitely need a helmet. DOT certified at least. Snell if you can get it, because they're much more stringent in their testing. You gotta have gloves, because, you know, whether you fall off a motorcycle or whether you fall when you're walking down the street, the first thing you're gonna do is throw out your hands and try to catch yourself. And that's what I did when I had my accident. Just threw out my hands. You also need an armored jacket. You need a jacket that has a back protector. Because protecting your head's important. But, you know, protecting your spine, that's also very important. Because if you break your spine, you're really kind of boned. Damn, these roads are still a little wet. It kind of blows. And also sturdy boots that'll protect your ankle, just in case you go down and your motorcycle hits you while it's going down. Because I think that's what happened to me. You know, my ankle got a little tweaked, and I had to go to an urgent care center to make sure everything was okay. So, yeah, guys, you gotta wear the gear. You know, when I see these cruiser riders just wearing the half or three-quarter helmet, no face protection, you know, no gloves, no jacket, I just, you know, I just am really concerned for him, you know? Ooh, nice. New Corvette. This is where I ran over that wood last time. Nah, nothing there this time. So yeah, guys, you gotta wear the gear. You gotta wear it all the time. You know, I'm not perfect. I'm not asking you guys to be perfect, but you know, motorcycling is dangerous, and you know, now gear is not going to protect you if you're, you know, if you get run over by a car, or you slide off the road and hit a tree or something. But you know, if you fall off your bike and you're sliding across the asphalt, you really want some gear between you and that abrasive ass surface. You really do. Like I said, I'm not trying to preach, and I know everybody's just going to do what they're going to do. I'm not going to be able to talk anybody into wearing gear that wasn't going to wear it before, you know. But you know, it's just something that I really implore you guys to do. It's something that I'm really thankful that I did when I had my accident, and as a result, I do it ever since. And you know, having an accident is not a good way to learn why you should wear your gear. Slow down a bit because we got some nice twisties coming up here. I know a lot of people only learn by the school of hard knocks, but you don't want sliding across the asphalt to be the reason that you wear gear. please, guys, just, I'm really, yeah, really, that's really something I feel strongly about, and I just want everybody to be safe out there, you know. That's really all I got for you guys. Please, please, please wear your gear. Sliding across the pavement is a really bad time to think, you know what, all those people that told me to wear my gear, they were right. So yeah, until next time, stay safe out there, guys.